This little black box is the Nationite Bq1 Bluetooth speaker. This is actually the second of these little speakers I've received. The first that I got actually didn't function when I got it. But customer support was good about trying to figure out if there was a problem, and once they determined it was defective, sending a replacement. And this is the replacement here. I later figured out with the initial speaker that the on-off switch here was damaged either during shipping or damaged somewhere along the way where it actually broken and wasn't making contact with the switch in the inside. That's the reason it wouldn't come on. But this one came in intact with no issues. And here included with the speaker is the one thing I like, a battery that you can take out and replace once it's used up its useful life. It comes with a combination micro USB to USB / auxiliary cable plug. Both of these on both ends here, the USB and the auxiliary. And then the instruction booklet, which the instruction booklet is fairly basic. It's pretty lacking in some areas, not well written, and for example has the diagram mislabeled for the slots in the back, among other issues that it has. That seems to be indicative of a lot of new release electronics. The manuals that come with them, at least on the first go around with these, tend to be bad. As I've said in my written review, I've seen quite a few different portable Bluetooth speakers. Some were surprisingly good, some not so good. And for me, this is the smallest little speaker. As you can see, it's about 4 inches wide, a couple inches in height, about 1.5 inches deep. This is the smallest speaker I've seen and reviewed. It's pretty lightweight and easy to stick in a bag and carry around with you, which is cool. The charging is fairly quick, and pairing was fairly easy, although for some reason it did seem to take a few more seconds than other speakers I've tried. Not a huge thing for me, is that sometimes Bluetooth can be quirky. So the speaker, like a previous speaker I had, has an accented voice on it. I do wish it was unaccented, but this one is at least a little bit more understandable than a previous speaker that I tested that I couldn't tell what she was saying hardly at all. This one, at least I can understand what the different modes are in the speaker. Although I do think, again, like I said, it should be an unaccented voice for the speaker. The speaker itself has 4 buttons on the top. And not only do the symbols blend into the buttons, but the symbols themselves are very cryptic looking symbols. I wasn't really sure what each of these buttons really did, and the instructions are kind of so-so and possibly mislabeled in sections, so I kind of had to figure it out. I mean, I did figure out these are the volume buttons here in the middle, the mode button to the left, and the play pause button here to my right. So I would have preferred a little bit clearer labeling for the buttons on them as well. And again, on the back, I showed you earlier the power switch. It's got a micro cable plug, a USB cable plug, and a slot for a micro SD card. Again, the slot on the back also doubles as an antenna that you plug this particular cable and make it an antenna for better radio reception. I tested the sound of this by playing both with the music through the Bluetooth connection and through the auxiliary cable with my iPod. And music-wise, this is, for the size of the speaker, is very clear, fairly even-sounding speaker. And the bass was not bad. It's not going to be booming, of course, because considering the size of the speaker, it's not bad. And there's a little distortion at higher volumes, but not much, so that's pretty good too. And again, a pretty good sound for such a small speaker. I tried to test the micro SD slot by putting a micro card into it, but I only have iTunes formatted music, and that appeared not to be able to play that. The instructions say MP3, but it really isn't clear if it's just MP3 or other formats, but evidently it must be only MP3. It also isn't clear what size card you could use. I used a smaller card, but it doesn't say what size card it's even capable of using up to in the instructions. Again, poor instructions. The Bluetooth range, though, this speaker is actually pretty good. I walked pretty much as far as I could in my house, which is at least 30 feet or more, without cutting out. Although the playtime, though, is only about 2 hours in length, so not a great playtime with these batteries. Phone call-wise, were pretty clear and sounded good on both ends of the phone. And would be sufficient as a hands-free device, although for me, I'm not going to use that as this primary speaker's purpose. You know, and the other thing, you know, this thing comes with an FM radio, and when I saw the pictures of this online before I got the speaker, I saw this little triangle symbol here, and I'm like, oh great, this has a display on it for showing the mode and the radio station, which was the biggest weakness of another speaker that I'd previously reviewed. Well, this little triangle is only cosmetic, and in fact, on the first speaker, it actually fell off. But it's merely cosmetic. There's nothing to this. There's no button function. There's no display function. So I was a little disappointed with that. You know, so it's basically a search feature with this button to try to find a station that either doesn't have static or that's something you want to listen to, or both. Without the little, you know, using the plug here for an antenna, the radio reception for me was not too good. And with it plugged in, the radio reception was better. You know, okay, I would say. But again, for me, I do not like having something as a radio function in it that you have to keep searching to find a station without some kind of display. This would have been much better with a display. Overall, though, for 16 bucks, this is a decent sounding portable speaker if that's your primary purpose for it. Although the instructions are lacking. The accented voice, I really think it's understandable, but should be unaccented. Some people may have difficulty understanding it. The cryptic button symbols, that should be improved. The lack of a display for the radio station, that keeps this from being high rated. I give this 3.5 stars.